Yes, I'd like to welcome all of you to this video here. This video, I didn't have plans on doing this particular video before, but I was motivated to do this particular video because of what I was hearing in the media from America. I'm, not in America right now, but, I have a lot of, friends and relatives, and I'm actually from America. I'm an American, And so I have a great concern for the things that go on in America, and I hope that America would be improving for the better. And so not only do I hope that America is improving for the better, but I hope that the world is improving for the better as well. I, as an individual, I chose Islam. I was raised, as a Christian by my mother, and I found Islam. I didn't know about Islam at first. But why did I choose Islam? Because I wanted to be better. I wanted to make it to paradise. This was my objective. And so as an individual, I wanted to be better. But then also I want my friends and my family and even America, the country that I was born in and my father was born in, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, I want that country to be a better country. I mean, everyone now looks at America as being a role model and example for technology and advancement, in this day and time. So you have a lot of people, Muslim and non-Muslim, that expect America to be on the highest of standard as far as modern technology and modern behavior and so forth. People want to talk like us. They want to walk like us. They want to eat like us. You see, so as Americans, we have a lot of pressure on ourselves to show the good example. And so as a Muslim, now I have a double responsibility to try to show a good example and for us to show a good example to the world, because if you know anything about Islam, then you know that Islam is actually the way of life that all of the prophets lived. And so when I became a Muslim, I'm carrying on that responsibility that the prophets had brought to mankind. That's something that even if you don't understand that right now, you can look at another video that I did dealing with this in greater detail. But right now we want to talk about this film, okay? And there are other films like it, and maybe books like it as well. So we want to now try to take a closer look at, for those who did not see the film, and for those who did see the film, and even for the producers of the film, okay? These are the people that I want to speak to. And if there's any Muslim that is watching this particular video, then you should take a copy of this video and give it to those who are not Muslim. Because there are many people who are not Muslim that don't understand, about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's very important to understand, who the Prophet Muhammad was. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. It's very important to know about his character, because this is the one who carried the message to the people. So if you give a bad example, whether spoken or written, of this great character, then you'll actually be destroying also, that which he brought. I mean, how could a corrupt person bring a good message, right? And how could a good person bring a corrupt message? These things go together. A good person produces good things, and a bad person produces bad things. This is obvious. In fact, for all of those Christians who study their religion, you'll know that even it's reported that Jesus said in the Bible, when he was telling the people, how do you look for a true prophet? And how do you look for a false prophet? This is very important, because keep in mind that if there were no prophets to come after Jesus, he simply would have said, there are no more prophets after me. That would have been simple, and he would have ended the whole issue. But no, he told them how to look for a true prophet. So that shows you that not only is there a prophet to come after Jesus, but there are characteristics to look for. He said, you'll know a good tree by its fruit. Right? So a goodly tree will produce goodly fruit, and a bad tree will produce badly fruit. That's pretty simple and easy to understand. So therefore, if the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, is actually a bad and corrupt man like so many books and so many movies are trying to say, then obviously that which he brought, which is the Quran, should also be corrupt and should also support corruption. Correct? Right. So, in order for us to understand the Prophet Muhammad, we have to understand that which he brought. He should not be contradicting that which he brought, because if in fact someone brought you a message, right, and said fornication is terrible, fornication is forbidden, and that you will be in the hellfire if you fornicate or commit adultery, but then he himself went and committed adultery and fornication, would you find him having followers? No, he would lose followers, and people would always be complaining against him and attacking him. Because why are you telling us don't fornicate and you're fornicating? Why are you telling us don't commit adultery and you're committing adultery, right? So this would be hypocrisy, and he would lose followers, not gain followers. But we don't find this happening during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We find the amount of people following him growing. And even until today, Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. Not just in America, in the world. So if he's such a corrupt man, and this message is so corrupt, then are you telling me that the majority of the world love corruption? No. The people want peace. They want goodness. And so anytime one person starts to read about the character of the Prophet Muhammad, and starts to read what it says in the Quran, then all of a sudden, now you love Islam. Now you love his character. For those who want the truth can be found in the book which we call Al-Quran. Because if you want to judge a person who says that he's Muslim, then you have to look to that which he lives by. You have to look to the book that he's supposed to live by. The book, the manual, the example for him. Right? So now we want to find out, are Muslims really terrorists? Is Muhammad a terrorist? Does he support terrorism? Right? So how do we do that? Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Quran itself. Okay? Now, like I said, the best argument, and we're going to take this from an educational perspective and from an educational angle, because I know you're very intelligent. You know, so if you're very intelligent, then don't turn off this video, but listen and think. Because if you're really intelligent, then you should be able to understand what I'm saying, or you'll contradict what I'm saying. And I welcome anybody, anyone on the face of this earth, to come to me and talk to me about Christianity or Islam, right? And try to prove to me that Islam is either a made-up way of life, or that it's a religion of terrorists, right? The door is open. No fear, no running. Bring me a priest. Bring me a pope. Bring me anybody on the face of the earth to speak with me. You know, I remember when I was looking for, people to interview about Islam and how they became Muslim. I mean, countless numbers of people become Muslim. Priests become Muslim. SubhanAllah. The people who are supposed to be the most knowledgeable of Christianity accept Islam. And the common people accept Islam. And the poor people accept Islam. And the rich people accept Islam. So don't listen to the lies. There are some people who say that it's only the poor people that accept Islam. No, there are rich people who have lots of money and they play sports. They're famous. They're rappers and singers, and they're famous and have lots of money. There are people who are wealthy, but they learn that the money does not bring them happiness. So you see? So it's Islam that brought them happiness. So don't listen to the lies. It's time to listen to the truth. And the thing that's beautiful about the truth, I remember when I became Muslim, it only took one day for me to become a Muslim, just listening to the truth. Because when you listen to lies, it doesn't really set on your heart. It may go into your mind. It may, move around in your heart, but it doesn't find a place to settle itself because it's not the truth. You're going to always hear things that contradict lies, and it'll keep changing. One day they'll say this, another day they'll say that. But Islam has not been changed since the day it has been revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and peace and blessing of Allah be upon him. So you can understand that this is the truth. There's nothing to run from. Muslims are not trying to change the Quran every year to please the people, because it's the truth. It's the people who have to understand the truth. It's the people that have to accept the truth. It's the people that have to change. It's not Islam that has to change. Therefore, Islam is the only way of life, the only one that they call religion, because Islam is a way of life. That's why I don't even like the word religion. The word religion, okay, on Sunday you go to church. On Friday you go to the masjid. You do certain rituals. That's religion. But Islam is a way of life. So it's not just a religion. It's how I eat. It's how I sleep. It's how I walk. It's how I talk. It's how I call people to Islam. It's everything. How I treat my guests. How I treat the bugs. How I treat the animals. All of this is Islam. Islam is a whole way of life. A whole beautiful way of life. It's not talking about torturing the animal. You can't even overburden the animal in Islam. You can't even set fire to the bugs. And when you're walking, you should be careful not to step on them. SubhanAllah, so Islam has mercy to the insects, to the animals, to the human beings, to the woman, to the man. You see, so when you start to learn about Islam, you start to learn about how beautiful Islam is. It's the people, the human beings that we have faults. The human beings we have deficiencies. You see, so if you see anything that contradicts Islam, look at the people and blame the people. And then not only that, some things are lies. So you have to get rid of the lies. And so if someone contradicts what Islam stands for, say he's not a good Muslim. He's not practicing Islam. He's not listening to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the peace and blessing of Allah be upon him. He's not following the examples of his companions. You see? So that's not a true Muslim. Right? So I will be the first one to attack a person who is not a good Muslim and tell him to correct himself. You see? Because a Muslim is not one who straps a bomb to his body and goes into a restaurant and blows himself up in order to blow up innocent women and children and men. That's not Islam. Because the Prophet Muhammad said you can't even kill yourself. You see? It's Allah who takes your life. It's Allah who gives your life. So you cannot intentionally take your life, nor can you kill anyone that is innocent. Because the Quran even says that if you kill someone that is innocent, right, that is as if you have killed all of humanity. You see? So you can't even kill an innocent woman or man or child. You can't kill the elderly. You can't kill the babies. And when Islam came to the Arabs, they used to bury their children alive. They used to bury the girls alive because they didn't want a girl. And be careful. This still happens today in India. They don't want girls. And even today in America, maybe someone will have kill the baby in the womb. They will have, what they call a birth, control. They will have birth control. They will kill the baby in the womb. Right? I've been so long speaking Arabic that, in fact, sometimes I'm forgetting a few English words. But, as you know, when they kill the baby in the womb, right, this is murder. But some people say, oh, we have a choice, but if that was you, and before you were born, you didn't have a choice to live or not, then your right has been abused even before you've been born. And on the day of judgment, that child will ask you, and you will be asked, why did you kill them? And so Islam put a stop to that, forbade killing the children, right? Whether they're not born yet or whether they have just been born. So Islam protects the rights of the unborn and the born. So see, Islam is beautiful like this, that it protects all of the rights of the humanity. So now let's take a look, like I said. Be open-minded. You're intelligent, right? So listen to the video and listen to what I'm saying. And then if you still have anything in your heart, you can either ask us or you can come and debate with us. No problem. You see? But understand that anybody that has negativity in their hearts, they'll never win an argument. Because these are the people that start cursing and using profanity because they don't know how to use intelligence to defend their points. And this is what happens so many times. I remember when I was talking to a person who was attacking Islam, you know, and you got to understand, when you have the truth is strong. You don't need to lie if it's the truth. You don't need to raise your voice or holler or use profanity if you have the truth. The truth is strong. You know, like I said before, you know, remember, the first thing I don't want to forget to mention is that the Quran is in the Arabic language. You see, it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad over 1,400 years ago in the Arabic language. You see, and it has not been changed. You know, now we don't have the Arabic Quran. Now we have a Chinese one that we translate from. No, now we have an English one that we translate from. No, you can see right here and now that there is still the Arabic Quran that was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the peace and blessing be upon him, for over 1,400 years ago. Even if you look in Encyclopedia Britannica, they're not Muslims. But they said, when I read there in the Encyclopedia Britannica, looking up what they say on the Quran, they said it's the only book in existence that has not undergone change since the time it has been written. No other book on the face of this earth can claim that. So this in itself is a miracle. That now if you want to attack Islam, you have the source of it. Look at the Quran. So I remember there was a person, and he said, yeah, that book, that Quran, that's the source of terrorism. He said that book tells you to kill people, right? And that's why so many Muslims are killing people, because of that book. And then you have a preacher also that wanted to burn Qurans because he felt like that was the source of the problem. That's why the Muslims are killing so many people in the world. This is what, you know, he thought this was his argument. The first thing is that even if he burnt all of the Qurans on the face of the earth, millions of people have memorized the Quran from cover to cover in their hearts. How is he going to burn that? He can't burn that. So see, it's the Quran in the hearts. Remember, the Quran was not revealed in written form and distributed. No, it was revealed from the Almighty God, Allah, the Creator, right, to the Prophet Muhammad, as he did to all of the prophets. The angel Gabriel brought it down. And because Muhammad could not read or write, he recited it to him and put it upon his heart where he cannot forget. So he had memorized it and recited it to his people, right? And so many people memorized it after that. So the Quran is still in the heavens, right, in what we call Allahu Mahfuz, in a place where all of the revelations are kept. The Torah, the Gospel, all of the books of the prophets are kept in what we call in paradise, in Allahu Mahfuz, in this place, right? So it was brought down to the Prophet Muhammad and recited to him because he could not read or write. So this was another miracle to show that, well, he could not have learned it from someone else because he could not read or write. To go read the Bible and then come back with it to write. No, he couldn't read or write. So what came out of his heart and off of his tongue was that which was revealed to him upon his heart. This was another miracle. So the Quran is still in its purity. So now let's take a look. So if a person wants to attack Islam, he must attack the source of Islam, which is the Quran. Alright? Because that's what the Prophet Muhammad came with, and that's the example that he lives. Because even his wife, when she was asked about the character of the Prophet, right? The Prophet, may peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, she said the Prophet, he is khuluquhu Quran, that his character is the Quran. So if you want to attack Islam, if you want to attack the Prophet, then you must attack the book that he was the example of, that he was showing by living. Right? So this is Islam. Now that he's not no longer walking and talking on the earth, then now you have to look to the source, the Quran, to prove that he was really a bad man, that he was a corrupt man, that he supported terrorism. Again, like I said, on the internet, there was a man that was attacking Muslims, and he was attacking one of the priests that became a Muslim, right? So he told me it's that book, it's that Quran that produces terrorism. And so he told me, if you look at this verse and that verse, right? So I said, okay, you know, I'm not going to just holler and say no. You know, I'm going to take a look, you know, because as Muslims, you know, we're not going to start arguing back with you, using profanity, using bad words. No, even my mother taught me before I became a Muslim, two wrongs don't make a right. So it's not for me to use profanity. In fact, my mother wouldn't let me use profanity. She would spank me if I used profanity. So even not around my mother, I wouldn't use profanity. So when this man was using bad words and profanity, speaking to me, and he's the one attacking Islam, you know, I didn't respond in that similar manner. You know, he told me, you know, look at this verse and that verse. I said, okay. So I took a look at each verse that he mentioned, and guess what? He only took a part of the verse and didn't take all of the verse, right? So when you look at all of the verse, you'll find that he was talking about the verse that says, you know, that you should kill the people who oppose Islam, right? But, you know, it said after they have been killing you. So if you look at this particular verse, right, it says to kill the disbelievers, right? But it said only after they have been killing you. You see, so Islam acts in self-defense. So if you read that particular verse, it's saying that, you know, kill those who kill you, fight those who fight you. And I doubt that anyone watching this video, if someone just came while you're watching this video or at any other time and punched you in the face or stabbed you in the back, you say, that's okay. Keep stabbing me. You know, that's okay. Keep punching me. I doubt that. So, you know, Islam says to kill those who are killing you and to fight those who are fighting you. Doesn't that make sense? And if you look at any of the people that they're calling terrorists, 99%, if not 100% of the time, these people have already been attacked, right, by the ones that they are attacking, right? So these people have been attacked by dropping bombs on them, right, blowing open the chest of their husband or their wife, blowing open the heads of their children. And so if you, by chance, and you're not responsible for the president that you have making a bad decision on foreign policies and involving himself in a war that you're not in favor with, but in turn, that country decides to drop a bomb. That bomb hits your house. Then you look to your right and you see your wife with her stomach blown open, with her heart hanging out. And then you look to the left and you see your baby with its head blown apart and the brains hanging out. Do you tell me that you would say, that's okay? Do you think that you would say, I forgive them? In most cases, like we noticed with 9/11, people did not say that's okay. They said, kill them all. Kill every single one of them. SubhanAllah. So what happened to that which you want them to do? After their wives and their children and their loved ones and their elderly have been blown apart and killed by people who have weapons that come from your country, that use money that comes from your country. And when they retaliate, they shouldn't retaliate. It reminds me of, you know, for those who are from America, it reminds me of the 60s, you know. In the 60s, you know, we as African Americans, you know, we wanted our equal rights, you know. We wanted to be able to eat in the same restaurant as white people, you know. We wanted to be able to go to the same schools as white people, you know. We wanted to be able to sit on the bus, you know, on the front of the bus. I mean, these were our objectives, you know. And so we had peaceful marches, right? We would march and say, we shall overcome. At the same time, they used to sick dogs on us to bite our legs and shoot hoses at us and knock us down up against the wall, and we still say, we shall overcome, and keep walking. Would you do that? Would you do that? Be honest. This is why one of the people who was one of the activists, Malcolm X, which later became Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, he said, if someone attacks me, he was talking about a dog at the time, he said, if a dog attacks me, I have a right to kill that dog. He said, whether it's a four-legged dog or a two-legged dog, I have the right to defend myself. right? So that's the human, even the bugs, a roach, if you try to step on it, won't it run? So a dog, if you try to attack it, won't it fight back? I mean, this is the basic of nature, to defend yourself. So you need to understand that, first of all, these people are acting on normal human nature after their wives and children have been blown up and killed for no reason, because someone wants to take more of their land, someone wants to take their houses, someone wants their oil. These are reasons that these people are being killed. Oh, because there are weapons of mass destruction there, and we need to look for them. Whether you like it or not, we're coming to look for them. So people are blown up, people are killed, and they have nothing to do with the oppressor and what the oppressor did. So now these people who, out of frustration, have no army, have no military, have no technology, so out of desperation, they may strap a bomb to their body and go in a restaurant and blow themselves up because they don't want to live anymore. After they saw their mother killed, their father killed, their babies killed, there's nothing else to live for, so they want to die. That doesn't mean it's Islam. That's not Islam. But this is natural human response that you probably would do too, which was the source of why we have movies like Rambo. You know, someone who's going to take the challenge of the world, and he's going to go into a country by himself and destroy and kill everything in sight and come out alive without even a bullet wound. Do we want to believe that? So this is normal human reaction, but it's not Islam. So Islam is the one that says, you know, you cannot kill someone that's innocent. All right? Even what happened in Libya. To kill the ambassador when he's not the one who made the film, he's not the one who performed in the film, he's not the one who said bad things about the Prophet Muhammad or Islam, okay? He probably was very helpful to Islam, and Allah knows best. So it's not from Islam to kill this man. It's not from Islam to kill innocent women and children. That's not from Islam. So you need to know what Islam is so you'll know that that's not Islam. If someone said, every time a Christian killed someone, see what Christianity does, see what Christianity promotes, tell me how many movies a Muslim made talking bad about Jesus. Huh? Using profanity and making jokes about him and profanity and how many times? I can't even think of one movie. The Muslims love Jesus. I love Jesus. He's one of our prophets. You see? So if we have respect for Jesus, if we have respect for the mother of Jesus, then why don't you, who made the movie, or anyone who supports it, have respect for those who respect you? Have respect for those who respect your prophet. Have respect for those who respect the mother of your prophet. To have respect for those who worship the same God you worship when we talk about the creator of the heavens and earth. Why don't you have respect for them? You see, so when you give respect, you get respect. And there's a saying in America, what goes around comes around. You want world peace? Do you really want world peace? Or do you want world corruption? Because corruption produces corruption. You see? So if you really wanted world peace, when you see that the Arab world is starting to establish itself, putting presidents, putting leaders, and trying to reorganize itself, after so many protests, after so many killings, now starting to establish themselves with peace and harmony, now why would you put fire on the fuel? Why would you put an additional match or gasoline on the fire if you really wanted world peace? You said you wanted that, you did that because you want the Muslims to stop killing. But instead, you increased the killing, right? So don't lie to yourselves. Because, you know, it's the intentions that become clear from the reactions. You know, for those who are behind 9/11, and mind you, many Muslims died in that building on 9/11, right? So when you say Muslims were behind it, what about the Muslims who were under it, that were killed, that died, and many of the funeral prayers that were carried out? What about the fact that the owner of the building took out an insurance policy just before it happened? Why? What about the people who took vacations when they heard just before this happened? What about the dogs that were sniffing bomb dogs that were taken off before that? Don't you think this was another Pearl Harbor in motion, where someone knew what was going down? People said they knew what Osama bin Laden was saying and doing at every moment. They were recording his calls. They knew where he was at. But yet they didn't know that this was going to happen. And when the plane goes off course, heading in a different way, you don't shoot it down to save more lives? There's a lot of things that even the common American doesn't understand and doesn't accept. If a building came down by planes hitting it, would it fall straight down like a demolition derby did it? No. So there are so many things that did not happen right. So it's time for the Americans to use their mind. When Timothy McVeigh blew up the federal building, were they saying Christian terrorists? Were they saying that this is what Christianity produces? No, they just said Timothy McVeigh. So why do you associate people who do wrong things with Islam if you don't associate people that do wrong things with Christianity? It should not be a double standard. Alright, pay attention, because on the next part of this video, we're going to get into a little more detail about the character of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, to show you exactly who that man was. Was he a terrorist? And we're going to be open-minded. Was he a supporter of terrorists? I'm not going to pull any punches. I'll show you from the Quran itself. Was he? Did he? And does the Quran support that? So stay tuned and tune into the very next video so that you can know that man. Don't listen to the lies before you listen to the truth.